Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle Podcast. Today, I have a special guest, Dr. Zen Zeng. She is a concert pianist, conference interpreter, professional speaker, and a master teacher whose career bridges music, performance psychology, diplomacy, education, and leadership. She's performed in 4 continents and interpreted in high-pressure diplomatic, commercial, and legal settings. She brings a rare blend of artistry, intellect, and cross-cultural insight. Once driven by perfection, Zen learned the cost of unsustainable excellence firsthand, a lesson that inspired her deep listening method for authentic performance and connected leadership. She helps leaders and mindful achievers transform the way they perform, connect, and thrive. She's the author of the book Crescendo, a high achiever's journey from perfection to freedom. She lives in Melbourne, actually really close by in Doncaster near me. And with her 2 pianos, 2 kids, and one and only husband. So welcome, Zen. Thank you for coming on the Prescribing Lifestyle podcast.
Great to see you, Avi. Thank you for having me on your beautiful program.
Great. Well, welcome. You are amazing. Looking at your bio, you're a speaker, you're an author, a coach, and I've heard your story a couple of times, and I love how you talk about deep listening. Tell us about your journey. How did you become from a pianist to a coach and now a speaker?
Yeah, I get this question quite often because often people find these two worlds they do not um, um, cross path. And for me, it's actually a very natural journey. When I was performing as a pianist, I was sharing music, emotions, stories, and a journey with people, but just through music. And then I had 3 decades of performing on the stage. Then later in life, I went through a life transformation. Some people call it a life crisis. And then as I was traveling journey through that, and as I was transforming, as I was learning, I started to share more and more of my stories with my audience. Um, so that just became a very organic and very energizing process for me. Um,
Mm,
and then the feedback I got from my audience was very humbling. People would come up to me and saying how not only my music, but also my stories and the way how I shared my stories really inspired them and transformed the experience of that particular event. Or they would say, oh, I'm going to go home and do something about the next chapter of my life, or do something,
mm,
or make plans, or I
mm.
to go home and deliver some messages to people that matter to me. So that just became a very organic process for me to just do more and more because I saw that I was serving people.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. So you had something going on that made you transform from one journey to another. Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's a long story, but the short version of that, I think my book summarizes the gives a very concise short version. My
Mm-hmm.
book, Crescendo, A High Achiever's Journey from Perfection to Freedom.
Mm,
Uh, that pretty much sums up what happened. Um,
mm,
I was trained with the most incredible teachers in the world, and
mm,
like an elite athlete. I performed. I chased every award, every learning growth, CV opportunities,
mm,
um, and then everyone told me that I was too good to be not good.
mm-hmm.
It was
Oh,
too good um, to take it easy. And I
okay,
was all
yeah.
to aim for the highest possible standard.
Mm,
And if I did well, I could
mm,
always do better, which was fantastic. It really made
mm,
me I was and I am,
mm-hmm,
and it really showed me discipline, hard work,
mm-hmm,
also how to train elitely for really high pressure settings. At
mm,
the I became I set up goals that became humanly impossible for myself, and I think lot of my colleagues and a lot of other professionals. Now I share my story. I get a lot of people saying to me they absolutely relate to my training, my journey, and the teaching that I have received. It's immensely beneficial, but we have to learn how to take that so that we don't um, lead to burnout.
yes. Yeah, so I'm absolutely well aware. I too probably am like that. I'm perfectionist, want to do everything perfect, want to keep myself busy and so many things that I want to do. So what do you tell people? How do you stop being a perfectionist?
That is a very simple but yet profound question. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think for me, myself, my journey started with becoming hyper aware what was going on.
Mm,
Before that, I was like a duck paddling above the water,
mm,
working, but I wasn't aware what I was doing.
yeah.
Unfortunately for me, that took a burnout, and my body shut down. I almost had a car accident because I wasn't aware. I was just running off my feet all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that forced me, and I think, my husband is the person that summed up this really well to me. And sometimes when you're in muddy water, everything is
Mm,
going on with you,
yes.
and the essential thing you need to do is
Yes.
just to stay still and wait for the mud to settle.
Okay, yes.
You see very clearly with time, awareness, and discipline, and you see what is around you, who you truly are, and what you are here for, and you start to want to become the person you already are, while seeking a more um, meaningful purpose.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's absolutely right. Just paying attention to what's happening, being aware, just paying, yeah, just listening to your whole body. I think that applies to the body, the physical self, or even the emotional self, and even the nervous system. Yeah, absolutely relate.
I think also being a doctor yourself, you would apply that skill all the time, right? When you receive um, patients
Mm,
and understanding not just what they say, but what they don't say.
yes, yes, absolutely. But the Western medicine usually just pays attention to the physical symptoms rather than emotional or nervous system or how stressed you are or how burnt out you are. So I'm still learning. So I that's why I'm learning from podcast guests like you on how to pay more attention to nervous system and emotional and teach people how to pay attention and be aware and avoid burnt out. Is that what you do? You talk to people about how you're coaching people on how to do this?
Yes, my coaching program offers two frameworks. One is an inward journey, and
Mhm.
the framework is called STAGE, stage.
Amazing. Tell us what stage means.
Stage is in an inward journey that we look at how we journey from stillness
Mm,
all the way to um, living in abundance.
okay, great. So S stands for stillness. Is that it?
Yes, yes, yes.
And T, what does T stand for?
T stands for truth.
Truth. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to stillness. What is stillness? What do you mean by stillness?
That's an excellent question. Um, Stillness is silence,
Mm.
by tuning in with oneself.
So learning how to be still and learning to be silent and learn how to interpret your own body. Is that what you mean?
Mhm.
Great. And then T is truth.
Yes,
So, yeah, so learning about the truth of yourself, is that what you mean?
learning about truth and what really matters to you, to the person you are, and your true,
Mm.
and not what the society or your family or your surroundings or your ego have told you that you should be.
Great. Oh, good. What about A? Are we up to A?
Alignment.
So what do you mean by that?
Alignment, I think if we don't live in alignment, we face the danger of um, disengagement,
Mm,
burnout,
yeah.
and um, just the lack of life in ourselves.
Mm,
And what we know very well is when somebody truly lives in alignment, they've got a great, you often see people, they're very energized. They they love what they do. Um, Also, that saying, when you love what you do, you don't feel like you're working.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I feel that if I'm really passionate about a topic, I'm speaking about it, doesn't feel like working. That's it. Most of the time, I think I'm aligned with what I promote. Yeah, great. What about G? We're up to G.
G is growth,
Okay.
evolve without losing yourself.
Yes, I love growth. I love how we each should be talking about growing ourselves, growing our mental health, growing on physical health as well.
Mm. And how we can start small
Mhm.
and then ask the question, if I wasn't fearful of this judgment, what would I say? What would I do? How would I live my life?
Great. And
And
E?
E is expression, is when you have gone through the truth, the stillness, the truth, the alignment, and you're ready to grow. And that's when you're ready to show up authentically, unapologetically. You are living in attunement. You have accepted, and you are embracing who you are and what you're ready to offer to the world.
Amazing. I love all that. I love the stage framework. So you think anybody should embrace this framework or certain people, or what's your target audience that you think should embrace the stage framework?
I think all of us grow differently, and I think my my framework is to help people who resonate with what I'm saying, with my journey, and also it's designed for thoughtful achievers who still want to strive for excellence, but they want to achieve that without burnout and with a strong sense of presence, alignment, and clarity.
I love it. I love all that. And yeah, that's what I keep reminding myself as well, that I should practice according to my truth and if it's aligned to my values and trying to grow myself and trying to grow the audience that's listening to my podcast and try to help my patients who's trying to improve themselves with any of their lifestyle challenges. Great, I love it. So you are a speaker, and what things have you done in your speaking journey? You've spoken to lots of people, and you're an interpreter. Tell us about that.
Well, I've been speaking for the last 3 decades on the stage, but
Mm,
most of the time as a pianist. But on the stage as a pianist and behind the scenes, I used to work as a conference interpreter for parliament, politicians, big international corporates, our legal system. Um, so it's a fantastic, very inspiring mix of professions. Um, and I did both when I was quite young as well. Um, so to be a concert pianist, for me, that journey, a lot of the time, although I was speaking to my audience, but a lot of the time, I was hiding behind the music. It was
mm,
about the music, about the history, about the composer. And my speech was scripted, my words were rehearsed.
mhm.
Um, so when people say, you've had many years as a speaker, and I say, absolutely. At the same time, I'm also fresh to the game because now as a professional speaker, I speak from my heart.
Yes,
I share my true journey, who I am. I show up as I am. I'm not a performer. I am myself.
that's great. That's amazing. I love it. And you talk about deep listening. I think a lot of people don't know how to listen, but what's your tips for deep listening?
Deep listening, I absolutely love this topic because we have, most of us have heard that in this AI driven age, communication will be our number one human skill of the future. And
Mm,
I argue that the number one skill within communication is not speaking, it's listening. Because speaking is very, very important, and having an excellent speaking skill is paramount for our future. However, speaking is about producing, giving. But I believe before we give, before we produce, we need to receive and we need to listen, and not listen superficially or waiting for people to finish so that we can offer our opinions and replies. We listen without an agenda
mm.
and without ego.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Quite often when I speak something, the people will just give their point of view without really, oh, they just can't wait to tell us what their experience is. I don't think that's very good listening. What do you think?
I think for you to have that awareness, that is amazing. That is not very common. Um, I think as a society, we're so used to jumping in,
Mm,
and so many of us, we have been told to speak up and speak louder. Um, and um, I believe, how does it make you feel, Abby, when you um, are speaking, somebody truly listens to you and you feel that you have the space and time to share exactly how you feel?
yeah, I think I'm respected and I feel like I'm being listened to. And so I would really like whoever's listening to what I'm speaking about to ask me more about what I'm speaking rather than jump in and talk about their own experiences or change the topic. So that's my just personal experience just from talking to friends. Sometimes they jump in and they want to talk about their own things.
Yeah, I think that's a human thing to do as well. I think we always want to relate, and that's how we show our affection, our respect. But we forget the best relational offering is not to jump in and offer your own experience, but to offer people the space, time, and attention to share what they want to tell us. Like what you were saying, often you want to share something, but your friend's jumping and you feel you actually did not get a chance to share.
Yeah, yeah. What about like text messages and group WhatsApps? I belong to a couple of group WhatsApps. Sometimes I share my experiences and I don't feel like it's being acknowledged because my friends don't really ask me any more information on what I've shared. What do you think people should do when they're doing group WhatsApp or group text messages?
That's a different form of deep listening, right? That's a
Yeah,
digital deep listening.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I think it is true that, right? A lot of communication gets lost in text messages.
yeah.
And also our attention span has gone shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm guilty of that as well. A lot of you receive so many messages and emails
Yes,
on
yes.
different platforms. I think as the communicator, if you are sharing a really important message, we need to make sure that message stands out in a group setting.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like sometimes the messages get lost and then they move on to another topic and I'm not being acknowledged about the topic that's I want to bring up. I'm just venting and telling people this is how I feel sometimes with communication and listening, and I don't feel like it's been listening to.
I know, especially in a group, say WhatsApp setting, that could be quite overwhelming, right? And sometimes it takes quite a few scroll to find your own message.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
That would be frustrating for you, yeah, and for everyone actually. It's a very human and real everyday experience for many, many people.
Yeah, exactly. So, just going back again, how you talk about going from a perfectionist to an imperfectionist. And we talked about being aware to avoid burnt out. What other tips can you give our listener to try to be and not be a perfectionist and be an imperfectionist?
I love the term which I came up with. I did not come up with the word, but I love the term that now I embrace, which is imperfectionist, because for me that is a choice. That's a life choice. It also somehow it reflects one's life journey.
Mm,
And for me, the word imperfectionist reflects that we had a journey that pursued excellence, perfection. And now we're imperfectionists because we have understood uh, the cost of perfectionism. And we've made a decision that we will embrace being imperfect.
yes.
And also that word to me means we will never give up on striving for excellence. But we just have learned a smarter, more present, and more sustainable way to do that.
Yeah, so we don't have to be always perfect all the time. So we are human. We understand our limitations and we understand that we're not always have to be on. We can relax a bit and rest. And if we made a
Absolutely.
mistake, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest reasons um, on in addition to the framework, the speaking, the teaching, coaching that I offer, that's also a very important reason that I started my own collective. It's called, surprise, surprise, the Imperfectionist Collective.
Okay, tell us about that.
The Imperfectionist Collective is a collective for thoughtful achievers.
Okay.
We come together, we share honest stories, we share context, and we have a framework that help us strive for excellence, again, with awareness, alignment, and action. Because nobody should do this alone, and we should not have to strive for excellence with always a burnout.
Mm. So what's this collective? Is it a group or is it your coaching group or yeah, tell us about that.
It's a community. It's a community. I host an intimate group of thoughtful achievers,
Okay.
and it's a learning circle. And for people for thoughtful achievers who want to sustain excellence without exhaustion.
Okay. And
And
is everybody is open to everybody to join, or is it a paid coaching group?
it's a paid, it's a membership based community. So in this membership circle, we offer um, uh, conversation, live coaching, journaling, accountability, micro practices, and we also have guest experts from creative, corporate, and well-being fields join us and offer their expertise, advice, and host meaningful conversations.
Right. So how do people join in this? Is it in your website or how do people
They can
join?
go to our website, www.zen, so my name, zenzeng.net,
Yeah.
ZENZENG.net. And the circle is called the Imperfectionist Collective. And you need to go on a wait list because my current circle is full and the
Okay.
next cohort will open next year.
I
And for
will
the
put,
circle, we
yep.
have we have also most of the sessions are done online, so you can join us anywhere in the world. But we also have in-person meetings, more like social and learning opportunities. And we also have something called Pause and Play, where I offer live music, reflection, nice food, and meaningful conversations.
Amazing. I will put your website in the show notes. So whoever is interested can check it out and then follow your mentorship and your group. That's great. The Imperfectionist Collective. That's amazing.
Thank you, Avi. I would love that. And if anyone is interested in knowing more or know somebody that might be able to benefit from this, please get in touch.
Amazing. And you're writing a book and we can buy your book. It's Crescendo. Tell us about your book.
It's a word play because the word crescendo is a Latin word, but it's widely used in music. Crescendo means to grow gradually, but in music, it means to grow not just volume, but also intensity, clarity, and intention, and which I absolutely love. So it's also the name of my business, Crescendo. My book is called Crescendo, A High Achiever's Journey from Perfection to Freedom. I initially wanted to write this book just to offer the things and lessons I've learned through reflection, through working with different mentors, therapies, and from different philosophies, East, West, and scientific findings. But the journey very quickly became not only me sharing a framework, but also sharing my own story, because I realized I cannot show people what to do without openly sharing what happened to me and how I managed everything. So it became a very therapeutic process for me. It ended up being like a biographical exercise for myself.
Oh, lovely. Awesome. So yeah, I would like to be changing from a perfectionist to freedom. I would like that. I will buy your book for sure.
I would love to share that with you, Avi, and we can continue our conversation on that as well. And again, I am not the expert of achieving excellence without burnout. I might just be quite a few steps ahead of some people who may find my framework helpful, because I don't think anyone has achieved that stage of being a perfect imperfectionist, because that makes us human. We want
Yes.
to achieve, and yet we also get stressed. There are lots of stresses in life.
Yes.
Are just leading a very human, real life. And what we need is frameworks, strategies, awareness, and a community.
Yes, I think we're all going on our own journey, and the more we share, the more we exchange ideas, we help each other on how we can all improve, and none of us are or are perfect. Again, we are all imperfect. So we're all sharing our own journey.
Absolutely. And it is so important. You and I, we're both authors. We understand the importance of sharing one's journey,
Yes.
because that would just help those people who are listening and who at that time really needed to hear what we need to say.
Yeah, I think that just gives whoever's reading or listening, our audience, is just more ideas on how they can explore for their own journey and learn from other people going through different journeys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When's the book coming out?
Before Christmas, and it's already for sale on my website. It's been pre-launched, and I've already sold many copies, which is again a very humbling and encouraging process for me as well. And the more I speak to people, and the more people I reach, the more I hear from people how much they need to hear my story, because they relate. They, every time when I tell them my title, often the response I get is a sigh. Oh, and
It's amazing.
I need to read your book. That is me.
Yeah, yeah. I think I need to as well. I need to stop being a perfectionist and embrace and have freedom.
I think being a perfectionist is the desire wanting to be a perfect is also a virtue, because that shows that you appreciate excellence. You
Yes.
like to grow, you're curious. But I think for high achievers and thoughtful achievers, we really need to learn and how to build up the system that can help us excel
Mm-hmm.
sustainably.
Mm. Great. What do you suggest? What do you think? What sort of systems that you're thinking of that we can build to sustain?
The system that I love to offer is STAGE, stage. And,
Ah,
and my book actually goes into details explaining the practice of stage and the implementation. And I also shared in my own journey what that meant in my context and in the journey that I traveled with my life.
amazing. Great. So people have to read your book and get into details of each of the stage, what it all stands for.
Yeah, for example, in the section truth, when I was sharing about my life and my journey, the section on the truth, I shared about truth about myself,
Mm.
my past, my childhood, the truth of motherhood, the truth of a marriage, the truth of um, um, uh, your consumption. That's both food
Mm.
and mentally and your surroundings.
Yeah.
So
What does
I
that
went,
mean? Yeah, what does that mean? Like consuming food and what we're looking at? Yeah, tell us about a bit more about that.
I think we need to, a lot of the things, in music, or some of the greatest wisdom I received about life actually came from music and my music learning.
Hmm.
One of
Yep.
my mentors said in music, it's okay if you make a musical decision that other people don't agree, because it's music, it's personal. But it's not okay if you don't make a decision. Means you just play the notes with no intention. And I apply that to living a meaningful life. That means that applies to the food we consume. I think I might get a smile from you because
Yes, yes,
you know exactly what that means, and the importance and urgency of being alignment and being intentional about the intake of the food. But I
yes.
also argue the intake of what you listen to every day, the people you have around you,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yep.
lifestyle, and the habit that you set up for yourself. Um, they are a form of consumption that we have every day. And I think to be truthful and also later in alignment of what you desire, what you intend, these are critical in having a life that we want.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just being intentional with eating is just mindful eating and eating foods that are aligned with what you want. So if you want to lose weight, then you probably won't want to eat sugar and junk food and processed foods.
So
That's
true, right? That,
yes.
so many of us talking about food, right? So many of us um, can relate to sometimes you are really hungry, you eat the meal. By the end of the meal, you're like, I'm full, but I can't remember the taste of the food. It's just a blur. And
Yes.
I like that with the consumption of food, consumption of even life and years. So many people we hear that they say, oh, I don't know what happened to my life. So many years just went past.
Yes. They're just not mindful. They're not paying attention. They just keep going. They're not paying attention to what's going on.
And again, that's also very human. But I think for the message you and I and many other people deliver and share is we raise everyone's awareness, and we are trying to say it's never too late. If
Yes.
today whatever we are sharing and trying to teach have caught your attention, then it's up to you today to take action.
Absolutely. I think this will resonate differently in everybody and how they receive the message, and they might listen again and they might think of something else.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the clearer our messages are, the more aligned our audiences will be, and the
Yeah,
more impact and help we can offer to the people.
absolutely. That's great. That's a very big reason why I invite people like you to my podcast, just to share these messages and share how people can be enlightened and learn. And I am learning as well. And just sometimes you putting into words, I learn just from listening to you.
Oh, you're such a great listener, Avi.
Well, I'm a GP, so that's a job that I do is just listening to people talking about their symptoms. And I think just by listening, people have therapeutic effects because they just want their doctor to listen to them. And sometimes we can't fix it, or we just say, "Oh, keep an eye on it. You come back with if there's anything changed," and they feel therapeutic already just by being listened to.
I relate to that. I relate to that as a patient, but also as a human. And sometimes when times are tough, you just want people to give you their attention and care.
Mm,
Mm. And having somebody like yourself who are an expert in the field, listening to them with intent and responding with calm, it must be a very, as you say, therapeutic process.
yeah, I think so. I think people sometimes have a problem, especially the ladies. They just want to talk it out, and people, you don't even have to solve the problem. And if they release the emotions, tell us what's happening, that is just as good, not even solving the problem.
Well, that's one of the greatest gifts you could ever give to somebody. It's your attention.
Yes, amazing. Great. I've learned heaps from you, Zen.
Me too, Avi. That's very generous of you to say that. I have learned, and I've always learned a lot from you. And it's very energizing working with you.
Great. I think just we all work in similar ways and learning from each other and connecting. That's how we don't feel lonely and we feel like we're all driving towards very similar pathways. So where can people find you?
My website is a great place to go to. So my full name.com, which is zenzeng.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Crescendo with Zen.
Great. I will put all the links on the show notes and people can connect with you, follow you on the social media, and they can join the Imperfectionist collective if they wish, and they can keep learning from you.
Thank you, Avi. And I'm so humbled to have this session with you and also to share my learning with your very special group.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, Zen. And thank you, all the listeners, for staying tuned to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle Podcast. I hope you've learned heaps from Zen, and I certainly have. Until next time, I'll bring to you another amazing guest to share the journey. So